Hi, Angelica. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. I know these past weeks we have been discussing about us coming to an end in our process together. And I know throughout the process we have worked on so many different skills around the the problem that brought you in that was related to eating habits. And I wonder how are you feeling today, knowing that this is our last session?
I think I will do well. I feel pretty confident with the things we have discussed and the tools that we have implemented here. And also, I think that the thing behind binge eating, which was my anxiety, it has improved as well. I think it's manageable now. And in any case that it feels like it might be out of hands, I think I now have a place that I know I can come back to.
Yeah, definitely. My doors are open if at some point you feel like you want to come back to review this issue or maybe other things. But I believe from what you're saying in terms of you having the skills, and I'm also confident how you're going to do uh, in the future with the skills that you have obtained here. And I think that makes me wonder if you could put them into words. Like, what are some of those things that you feel you have achieved in this process or you are getting out of there?
Well, I think as I mentioned before, I no longer am binge eating, which is good. I think I can identify now when I'm feeling anxiety because of roots. I think there are many that I can feel now triggers. I understand also now that having a schedule and managing my time and putting myself during that time, that schedule as a priority is important as well.
Yeah. I know during the beginning of the process, we were talking about your kid being a priority, and I don't think that has changed or has to change. Um, but it's encouraging to hear how you're including yourself in the picture, and you're also a priority to take care of along with your child. And with that comes what you just said about the schedule and the things that you're doing to make sure that you can have that self care space and you can also take care of other things that you want. Um, and I know sometimes it's not gonna go like strictly how we want it, and it's gonna be require some flexibility in the process. And I know we have talked about before how that sometimes can be struggle, like to be flexible. Um, so I wonder how you feeling about that specific area, like being flexible with the schedule and with the plans that you have now for later on.
Well, as we know, no plan is perfect, so I am giving myself grace. With if something does not go according to the plan that I have made for the day or for the week, but at the same time, I feel like I'm being realistic as well about the schedules and the hours that it takes me to do things. And that gives me a space for a planification that feels more relaxed, a little bit more relaxed. And in that end, well, I think it's gonna be, or it's good for my well-being right now.
Yeah. And it shows. It shows in how you are uh, appearing yourself today in this space compared to how you were showing at the beginning of our process. And I can say like I'm really proud of how you're working and how you have worked and you will work later on. I wonder if you have any questions about how a relationship is going to look like later on.
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by that.
I think we discussed before that this being our last session meant that we were not going to be in touch like frequently as we were during the process, but that you had my number, my email, and if at some point you needed any support, like you could reach out and we can set up a space. Um, I'm just trying to understand if that's something that you're still feeling a little insecure about, like we talked in other sessions, or or how you're feeling in that sense.
Well, I think as you said, I have your contact information. I know that if I'm having a hard time trying to work some of the tools or there's something new that might be happen to me, I think this is a safe space for me to come back. So make sure that I called you at a proper hour for sure to maybe make an appointment in the future if that's needed. But other than that, I think I don't really have questions or doubts about it.
Okay. I know before we were talking about like the skills that you were getting out, and I think we didn't talk about resources that you have found and that are helpful and can be helpful later on. So I know we were talking a couple sessions ago about a group of parents that you related with, and I mean, it was being really helpful to go out on walks with them sometimes, and just having someone to talk to who understands what you're going through, right? Are you still in touch with them? Are you still seeing this group?
Yes, I am. We try to meet like every other week. I won't say it's that consistent, but also I think about resources and other things. For sure, the mandalas and the coloring books, and I think yeah, I even saw like an anxiety workbook that I can work with on the library the other day. So I feel like I'm more open and more aware of things that could help me manage the feelings that I have, manage my anxiety levels to a good point.
Mm. Sounds like you're being able to identify those things that have been working and that can work later on, right?
Yes, I think more aware now of how I feel and on the things that are happening to me in life. Because of that, I think I have taken an interest in finding a better way of life for me. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So when we started, right, it looked like there was this area that needed some help, which was around the eating habits. But then along the process, we discovered that there were other things going on, and that the eating habits were just reflecting some of the difficulties that you were having in other areas. So I'm glad to hear that you are seeing that, but also are working on that and finding those resources that you need to have a more balanced life, could be the word. Um, I wonder if that resonates with you.
Yeah, I think balance is a good word because I'm a parent, but at the same time, I have to complete duties and responsibilities at my work. And I didn't find like a real space for me, for myself and for my interests. I think now that everything is implemented all together, it feels much balanced than it was in the past.
Yeah, definitely. So along with what we were just talking about, you told me that this group, you're still seeing them, maybe not as frequently, but at least once every 2 weeks. Is that right?
Every 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks. You know, parents have different schedules, so sometimes it's impossible.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. I just want to encourage you to keep in touch with them because as we like talked before, and as you told me, you yourself told me, they have been a great resource for you, and they can be a great resource for the future. Um, I know we also discussed you taking today like a list of other resources that could help, like maybe if at some point you feel like it's needed, a support group around binge eating, and then um, other spaces that you can visit that can be helpful. So If you want to take a look,
Thank
you
you.
can take this with you today.
Okay, thank you. So I just need to. I'm just supposed to call these phone numbers if I need something like this. Is that the way it is? I just call them.
So if you want, and if you want to reach out to them, the number is there, and you can definitely ask if they have any openings, so you can go. Um, and then as we discussed, like I would like us to think about not only having one space, but creating different spaces in your life that can support your well-being. So that includes this space, but it also includes that group with your other parents, the work that you have, and how you're relating with your coworkers now in a different way, the family that you're building, and then other spaces that can be meaningful to you. So this could be one of those things that can be helpful if you find like it's appropriate.
Yeah, sounds good to me. As I said before, I think I'm open to other resources, so I'll keep this list with me.
So um, as we get closer to our last minutes together, um, I wanted to make sure that I reflected back the growth that I have seen during this process, the intention and the determination that you brought since the beginning, and how that is reflected in the results that you're seeing. And I want to encourage you also to keep working on the things that have worked for you, or keep doing the things that have worked for you, and keep identifying, as you said, those things that can also be helpful. Keeping that in mind, I also want to talk about what we discussed in other sessions, or we started discussing the idea that sometimes we can be in a good path and then life happens and things change, and we may feel like we're getting closer to that point that we didn't want to. So thinking about um, getting back to a point in which you don't feel comfortable with what is going on around eating habits or around other things that we have worked here. What do you think is going to help you prevent that from happening? Or more than preventing, because we have talked about skills, right? More than preventing, what do you think is going to help you to identify if that's happening, and what are the things that you're going to start doing to prevent that happens?
Okay, as we talked before, I think there's a few factors that has helped me identify um, how I feel around food and the way I eat. And I think that identifying those emotions and the situations that cause me stress or worriness is the first step to start process to actionate some of the tools that we have implemented here. So I think I'm pretty confident about the way I can identify now situations and how I feel around them, and in a way also give some time for myself for reflection. So I make sure that if I'm feeling a certain way, can organize and arrange some solutions so I can prevent things getting out of hands as possible. And if not, well, I do have, as you said before, resources, contact information, and a lot of things actually to make sure that I can prevent, um, a worsening of my condition.
Mm, yeah. Sounds like we have a tight plan that you can follow if something uh, does happen. And we are thinking around that in terms of the things that you're doing, but the resources that you have and the support of others, right? Because we don't want you to do this path by yourself, but also rely on others. And I know in parenting, it may feel many times like you're doing it by yourself or someone doesn't understand. But as we have talked before, there's others, and you have found others that can be helpful during the process. So I agree with you in terms of the tools that you have to deal with the situation if it does comes to that point. And as I said, I'm really proud of the work that you have done here, of the work that you allow yourself to build with me. And I'm honored to being having been part of your history.
I thank you too for I'll say guide me through these things. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
No, thank you. And I'll say, um, or open the space for you to say anything else that you want to say before we say goodbye.
No, no, I think we good.
Okay, then we're going to end our session here. And I wish you the best in the path that